Hi, this is Brendan from Watto Training, and in this tutorial we take a look at Level 4 driving skills for C-Class learners. This tutorial focuses on the what as opposed to the how. You can find lots of tutorials and videos on the Watto Training YouTube website. Levels 1, 2, 3 and 5 are also there. There are 5 levels of skill development for C-Class learner drivers. And the reference model that I've used to come up with these 5 levels is called the Novice to Mastery model. And for that model, there are 4 distinct stages: novice, competent, experienced, and master or expert. This chart shows the amount of time that I generally spend with a learner driver on each of the levels. So we can see there's a small amount on the introductory fundamentals, and then we move to level 2. A bulk of the training is level 3 and 4, and then we trail off a little bit for level 5. And I will now go through what each of those levels mean. Level 1 involves instruction and teaching no to little traffic. Level 2 involves instruction and teaching minimal traffic at low speed. Level 3 involves some instruction, some teaching, and some coaching. Level 4 involves some instruction, some teaching, coaching, and some assessment, and level 5 involves assessing and feedback. Why have levels? Working up through the levels with the learner allows a trainer to break complex tasks into their foundational elements and have students practice on the smaller elements before progressing to more complex situations. Let's have a closer look at the 5 levels. Level 1. This is training for a beginner, no driving experience. So we focus on the foundational skills such as cabin drill and controls, observation and scanning, move off and stop, steering and signaling. This is an example of a level 1 training area. Nice and quiet, open, good surface. Level 2. Using foundational skills that we've covered in level 1, observation and scanning, moving off, stopping to a quiet street road situation, such as a residential area, 40, 50, 60 zones. We cover some left and right turns, some simple roundabouts and T-sections, and we set up the foundation skills for our maneuvers. This is an example of a level 2 training location. Level 3. Using the foundational skills in a broader range of situations, 40, 50, 60, 70, and even some 80 zones, as well as broadening traffic situations. Lots of teaching and guidance from the trainer/supervisor, lots of practice, time on task, and skill building. And we introduce maneuvers, and more maneuvers. This is an example of a level 3 training location where we've got a sweeping bend to the left, advising the driver to slow down to 40 kilometers per hour. Level 4. Putting level 3 skills into practice in higher order situations, e.g. higher speed zones, busier traffic, complex intersections and roundabouts. Training where necessary in higher order skills, but an increasing focus on the learner taking responsibility for hazard recognition and decision making, as well as operational skills, maneuvers with less instruction from the trainer supervisor. The trainer uses more coaching techniques and encourages self-reflection. For example, so how do you think you went with that task? And this is an example of a level 4 training location where we've got the truck parked on the side of the road and the learner driver needs to make decisions about how to manage that. The trainer may or may not intervene as they see fit in the situation based on the actions and competence/confidence of the learner. Level 5 is all about test practice, using the level 4 skills, informal assessment and feedback, learner encouraged to self-reflect on own performance, focus as well on preparing for driving beyond the test as solo driver with no supervisor/trainer present, hence added responsibility. And here are some examples of level 5 situations that you could put your learner in, assess their performance and then give them feedback. If you found that they perform those to standard, great. If you found that they struggled with how to perform those correctly or broke a road rule or something, then that would guide you to your feedback cycle and further training. Take into account as well the transmission of the learner driver. It could be automatic or manual, so that'll impact on some of the skills that you will be required to cover with your learner. Let's take a look at some general training strategies for Level 4 C-Class learner drivers. Step 1, identify the hazards. Step 2, decide who might be harmed and how. Step 3, evaluate the risks and decide on the precautions. Step 4, record your findings and implement them. And Step 5, review your assessment and update if necessary. It's critical that at all stages of training, levels 1 to 5, that you manage the risk in the training program. Let's take a look at some coaching skills that are frequently used by a trainer in a Level 4 training program. Instructing, teaching, /training, coaching and assessing. Although instructing, teaching, training, coaching and assessing all share some key characteristics and skills, they are nonetheless quite different, and it's important to be aware of the differences. Teaching or training generally implies that the teacher-trainer possesses the required knowledge and skills related to the topic or the task or the skill, and imparts that knowledge to the learner as well as teach them the application of relevant skills. In this case, the trainer primarily leads the learning process. How does that apply to teaching a C-Class learner driver? Trainers assisting students through their words, directions, instructions, explanations, and actions, i.e. demonstrations, to develop basic skills such as braking, accelerating, steering, changing gears, and then coordinating those skills in different situations such as roundabouts, T-sections, and crossroads. What is assessment? Assessment refers to the process of collecting evidence and making judgments of whether competency has been achieved, to confirm that an individual can perform to the required standard as per the assessment criteria. See your state territory guidelines for further details. What is coaching? Coaching aims to assist the student in taking charge of their learning by allowing them to make decisions, take action, then reflect on their performance as a pathway to improvement. A coach's guidance is entirely dictated by the student. Coaching helps the student bring out what they already have or know, and that's how coaching helps learners change without their trainer dictating the change. Teaching guides the knowledge and advice acquired by the trainer. Coaching guides the knowledge and advice which is based on the individual. Keys to quality coaching. Active listening, by listening attentively with the trainee's interests in mind and exploring issues further. Direct communication, including but not limited to conveying understandable information, reframing where required, and using appropriate terminology. And powerful questioning, to identify not just facts, but possibilities. Communication and coaching, whether it's gathering information, delivering feedback, or building trust. Coaching relies heavily on healthy two-way communication. As well as active listening, coaching may involve techniques for effective feedback, open-ended questions, and nonverbal techniques. Techniques for effective feedback include make it timely as possible, if not immediate. Make it regular, be specific, be clear, and allow for and encourage self-reflection. Self-reflection is a powerful way to enhance the student's learning experience. It plays an important role in teaching students not just what to learn, but also how they learn and what they can do to improve their learning outcomes. It allows students to reflect on their work, processes, and learning style, giving them the opportunity to identify gaps in their knowledge and/or skills. It helps learners take greater ownership of their learning and promotes deeper learning and the setting of realistic learning goals. Open-ended questions. A crucial part of listening actively, open-ended questions encourages learners to develop greater awareness around their perceived challenges. In comparison, closed questions invite short, direct answers, precluding any additional insight into a learner's way of thinking, motives, and perspectives. An open-ended question is a question that cannot be answered with a yes or no response or with a static response. Open-ended questions are phrased as a statement which requires a response. The response can be compared to information that is already known to the questioner. Here are some examples of open-ended questions. Can you please show me your steering wheel controls and explain to me how they operate? Can you please talk me through your procedure for leaving the curb? Can you please talk me through your procedure for returning to the curb? Can you please explain to me how to do this maneuver? For example, reverse parallel park, straight line reverse, hill start, etc. Nonverbal techniques. Emotional intelligence skills play a massive role in coaching, and nonverbal communication is critical in healthy training relationships. Competent trainers are keenly aware of how to use body language, eye contact, and tone of voice to make their clients feel as supported and psychologically safe as possible. This encourages sharing, openness, and can boost a client's motivation. Effective coaches make a conscious effort to be aware of their communication styles and pay attention to their learners' communication tendencies in turn. They can thus switch effectively between different techniques based on what will be the most effective for their desired goal. Non-verbal signs of attentive or active listening. This is a generic list of non-verbal signs of listening. In other words, people who are listening are more likely to display at least some of these signs. However, these signs may not be appropriate in all situations across all cultures. Small smiles can be used to show that the learner is paying attention to what is being said, or as a way of agreeing or being happy about the messages being received. Combined with nods of the head, smiles can be powerful in affirming that messages are being listened to and understood. It is normally and usually encouraging for the learner to look at the speaker. Eye contact can, however, be intimidating, especially for more shy speakers. Gauge how much eye contact is appropriate for any given situation. Combine eye contact with smiles and other nonverbal messages to encourage the speaker. Now, if you're a C-class driver trainer, this is where there's a point of difference because the learner driver's eyes are on the road as well as the driver trainers. However, in briefing and debriefing sessions, these eye contact tips would apply. Posture. Again, a little bit different to our example here because in driver training, you're sitting in the vehicle. So we make sure we have the correct posture in the vehicle. However, once again, during briefing and debriefing in or out of the car, these factors can be taken into consideration. And also someone might be a defensive driving instructor or something like that, so they might operate out of the vehicle. Posture can tell a lot about the sender and receiver in interpersonal interactions. The attentive listener tends to lean slightly forward or sideways whilst sitting. Other signs of active listening may include a slight slant of the head or resting the head on one hand. Automatic reflection, mirroring of any facial expressions are used by the speaker and can be a sign of attentive listening. These reflective expressions can help to show sympathy and empathy in more emotional situations. Attempting to consciously mimic facial expressions, i.e. not automatic reflection of expressions, can be a sign of inattention. Distraction. The active listener will not be distracted and therefore will refrain from fidgeting, looking at the clock or watch, doodling, playing with their hair, picking their fingernails, or staring at their phone. Verbal signs of attentive or active listening. Positive reinforcement. Although a strong signal of attentiveness, caution should be used when using positive verbal reinforcement. Although some positive words of encouragement may be beneficial to the speaker, the listener should use them sparingly so as not to distract from what is being said or place unnecessary emphasis on parts of the message. Casual and frequent use of words and phrases such as very good, yes, or indeed can become irritating to the speaker. It is usually better to elaborate and explain why you are agreeing with a certain point. Remembering. The human mind is notoriously bad at remembering details, especially for any length of time. However, remembering a few key points or even the name of the speaker can help to reinforce that the messages sent have been received and understood, i.e., listening has been successful. Remembering details, ideas, and concepts from previous conversations proves that attention was kept and is likely to encourage the speaker to continue. During long exchanges, it may be appropriate to make very brief notes to act as a memory jog when questioning or clarifying later. Questioning. The learner can demonstrate that they have been paying attention by asking relevant questions and/or making statements that build or help to clarify what the speaker has said. By asking relevant questions, the listener can also helps to reinforce that they have an interest in what the speaker is saying. Reflection. Reflecting is closely repeating or paraphrasing what the speaker has said in order to show comprehension. Reflection is a powerful skill that can reinforce the message of the speaker and demonstrate understanding. Clarification. Clarifying usually involves asking questions of the speaker to ensure that the correct message has been received. Clarification usually involves the use of open questions, which enables the speakers to expand on certain points as necessary. Summarization. Repeating a summary of what has been said back to the speaker is a technique used by the listener to repeat what has been said in their own words. Summarizing involves taking the main points of the received message and reiterating them in a logical and clear way, giving the speaker a chance to correct if necessary. Coaching skills may include pre-drive checks, for example, exterior vehicle checks, under the bonnet checks, cockpit drill, steering wheel controls, dashboard instrument cluster lights, and dials console controls. Coaching may also include vehicle operation skills such as the system of vehicle control. This involves left and right turns, traffic lights, roundabouts, and lane changes. It could include steering, acceleration, braking, clutch control, and gear changing, as well as road position, speed, safety margins, also known as crash avoidance space, and lane changing. Coaching may include traffic situations such as giveways and stops, roundabouts, traffic lights, road markings and other traffic signs, level crossings, pedestrian crossings, school crossings, merging, diverging, and various speed zones as well. Coaching skills may involve hazard recognition and decision-making skills such as observation and scanning, mirror checks and shoulder checks, anticipation and identifying hazards, minimizing, controlling or eliminating hazards, reading a driving environment and responding appropriately, and exercising risk management strategies. Let's take a look at some examples. So, what would you do in this situation? An open-ended question that could be used. Tell me what you would do as you approach this corner or this bend to the left. Talk me through what action you would take in this situation. Explain to me how you would manage this traffic situation based on the signage. When you see these signs, how should you act if it was 8 a.m. in the morning? Talk me through what action you will take to take a left turn at this situation. Explain to me what you would do when departing the curb from this situation. Talk to me through what you would do in this situation. Thanks for watching. This has been Brendan from Watto Training.